I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. The Los Angeles County Sheriff will not release details on the cause of Tiger Woods' SUV crash 5 weeks ago, citing privacy concerns. 2 more lawsuits filed against Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson for inappropriate conduct and sexual assault, bringing the total to 21. Also today, Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, says he has statements from 18 women who worked with Watson and defended him. The Niners now hold the number 3 pick in the draft. Will they take a quarterback? ESPN's Matt Miller believes they will.
Too many smart people around the NFL will tell you, hey, there's something to this. And I don't think that many people are mean enough to just mess with me about it as a lifelong Niners fan. So I do think there's something to Kyle Shanahan looking at Mac Jones, who there's a lot to like.
Matt Miller on Key J and Z. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports UConn guard James Bouknight will enter the NBA draft. He averaged 19 points and 6 boards a game this season for the Huskies.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Plucker. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a proof.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah. Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Breaking news.
It's hump day.
Jamar Chase is still fast and athletic.
Hump day.
What did they think? He was going to become slow and fat?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ross Dellenger in 15 minutes.
It's hump day.
Baseball Tigers get a win.
Hump day.
Ryan Clark's on my TV right now.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He'll be on this show in an hour and 15 minutes.
It's hump day.
Kendall Rogers in hour 3.
Hump day.
Boy, do we have a lot to get to. Glad you are
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Glad you're here. Let's cook it. Let's get to it. Jamar Chase was the big story. LSU Pro Day was today. Chase runs a 4.3840, burning up the clock. Also, a really good day for Terrace Marshall, who also ran a sub 4.440. Remember, no combine this year, so these pro day times kind of have to be it. Chase was the story, though. 41-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump, and a 4.38 40-yard dash. Jamar Chase very likely solidifying himself as the top receiver in this year's draft, something I think we all expected, but very likely solidified today. Every NFL team was present. Jamar Chase did talk about, can you play 6, please? About how he has been training so far, obviously opting out this year.
Lately, I have been, just catching balls, getting back into my groove, trying to work on a lot of receiver work right now. But as of right now, I think I'm going to go full out just football. I was working on a lot of track, though, at first.
9 Tigers in all participated today. Jacoby Stevens also seemed to be a pretty big winner. So we'll let you hear plenty of what the guys had to say from their pro day today. And Ryan Clark will be with us, who was there at the pro day working for ESPN. And so he's been all over ESPN's coverage all day today, covering LSU's pro day. He'll be with us next hour, a little more than an hour from right now. Baseball Tigers got a win yesterday over South Alabama. This was a nice feel-good for LSU to get back in the win column. To have a win like that, an overpowering win the way LSU did, 11-1 over South Alabama, especially after the way that this past weekend went, where, it's just not much went LSU's way. The Tigers played well. They out-hit Tennessee. We've been through all of that. They had 3 good performances from their starting pitching, but came up empty, came up 0-3. So LSU goes out. They beat South Alabama 11-1 in the ball game on Tuesday night out at the box. Couple of things. There were 2 issues primarily that in the Tennessee series we talked about that plagued LSU. Remember? Number 1, LSU hitters struck out 38 times in 3 games. It's just too many. They weren't putting the ball in play. Last night, LSU struck out 7 times. Caveat, 3 of those came from guys that were pinch hitting. So in your starting lineup, you had 4 strikeouts. 2 of them were from Will Safford, who was making his first start. So I got more on Safford in a second. You curbed the thing that really affected you in Nashville. You put the ball in play. That was 1. 2, LSU pitchers over the weekend allowed 23 free passes, either walks or hit by pitch. Last night, 2. It's not coincidental that the final score ended the way it did. LSU scored 11 runs on 9 hits. That's efficiency. That's what happens when you get guys on, you get them over, and you get them in. Make a team that hits 230, like South Alabama, make them beat you. Make them put it in play. And see if they can drop double-digit hits on you. Don't give them a base. Same thing on the other side. Put pressure on that defense. Put the ball in play. And LSU did, and they came away a big winner. I want to talk about Will Safford because we've talked about him a lot here. Will Safford's a Baton Rouge guy who, if you go back into fall, he was the second best hitter on the team behind Dylan Cruz. I know we've talked about this a bunch, but I'm going to repeat it again. Safford's a Baton Rouge kid, was coming in as a freshman. He was going to be the everyday third baseman. He was going to be your opening day starter at third base. And somewhere in the preseason, he got the yips. And 1 out of 10 throws he'd make from third base, he would just airmail. And that's when Paul Mainieri started shuffling the deck at third base to try to find an option. Tried Dylan Cruz over at third base. Tried Will Helmers at third base, and that didn't go well. And ultimately ended up putting Jordan Thompson there. And then Thompson moved to short, and Arnold went to second, and Doty went to third. They sort of did a rotation around the infield, as you know. But what we've seen from LSU up to this point is they need offense. And Safford was the guy that they couldn't get out. So he finally gets a start last night in center field because we've seen guys like Drost and Sanford and DiGiacomo get their opportunity, and nobody's really grabbed hold of it. And Will Safford got on base 3 times last night. He was 1 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch. He did have 2 strikeouts, but it's fair to mention that's the first time the guy's seen live pitching in 5 times in a game since the season started. So when you just keep getting on base in this lineup where guys keep striking out, you're going to play again. And Paul Mainieri did allude to that today, that Safford is very likely going to be in the starting lineup against Vanderbilt. We'll get to more of that later, but it was good to see Safford get a shot in center field and to make the most of it offensively. Hayden Travinski also hit a homer again last night, which basically tells you he can homer off of South Alabama and Texas Southern. When you put him in an SEC weekend, he strikes over 3 with 3 strikeouts. He let Hayden Travinski play in the midweek. Give Milazzo his day off. Let Travinski catch and hit in the midweek. Let him improve for next year. Milazzo is your everyday catcher. And then Dylan Cruz, we also saw last night hitting the 3-hole again. And I don't even think that this needs to be much of a conversation piece anymore. Said it from the beginning of the season. Dylan Cruz is your best hitter. I want him batting with guys on base. The bottom third of LSU's order is a black hole right now. Move Dylan Cruz to the 3-hole so he is coming up to bat with guys on base in an RBI opportunity. And lo and behold, Dylan Cruz last night was 2 for 5 with 4 RBI, a home run, and an RBI double. Put Dylan Cruz in the lineup in a spot where guys are going to be on base. Trey Morgan led off. He was over 2, but he walked 3 times. Yeah, give me a guy that can draw 3 walks at the top of my lineup. So I think as much as the tinkering, it bothers me. I know it bothers a lot of you as well, but it's what Paul Maneri's always done, and he has won more games than any active coach in college baseball right now. And as we've said so many times throughout the years, his way is unconventional, but certainly has been effective throughout his career. Maybe he's stumbling upon now clarity to what his everyday lineup's going to look like, the batting order, where guys are going to fit. I would love for this to have been the reality in fall baseball, and then you had your lineup set opening day, but that's very seldom how this goes. But it's where they seem to be now. And it couldn't come a day too soon because tomorrow LSU welcomes in Vanderbilt, the number 1 team in the country, and Tigers are going to face Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, the 2 best pitchers in all of college baseball, very likely the top 2 picks in this year's upcoming draft. So Tigers have an uphill climb this weekend, but they are at home, and maybe just maybe a little bit of a feel-good after that win last night against South Alabama. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. We'll knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, we'll talk to Ross Dellenger of Sports Illustrated, our good friend who's pulling some double duty. Not only is he in Indianapolis covering the Final Four for Sports Illustrated, but he was also covering the Supreme Court hearing today with the NCAA as it pertained to amateurism and NIL law. So we'll get an update from Ross Dellenger on those 2 issues when we come back. Glad to have you aboard with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Tomorrow, my buddy Shane Danton from Pinnacle Exterior Construction coming out to Casa de Scone. We have a pool at our house, but I've always wanted an outdoor kitchen type space. We're going to have my grill built in, maybe a little bar top where people could sit. You understand. And I've always been interested in that. And so Shane Danton is going to come out to my house tomorrow. We're going to look at some sketches. He's got his landscape architect that came out, kind of brainstorming those ideas. That's the process when you call Pinnacle Exterior Construction. You've seen their signs all over town. It's that Pinnacle green, Pinnacle Exterior Construction. They can build your pool, your custom pool. They can build your outdoor kitchen. They also do fences and decks and awnings and pergolas and roof extensions, bulkheads. Pinnacle Exterior Construction. You want to take your backyard and make it a showplace? Pinnacle Exterior Construction can help. Here's what you do. Get online, check out pictures of their work, and contact them for that free consultation. PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in La Place has brand new 2020 Ford F-150s for only $29,995. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the diehard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, the NCAA was on Capitol Hill at the Supreme Court today. We'll get to that, or I guess I should say in D.C., at Supreme Court today. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. Ross Dellenger, Sports Illustrated, is our guest. Normally when Ross is here, we're talking college football, but actually he's drawn a different assignment. He's in Indy for the Final Four and was covering the Supreme Court hearings today. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Good, Matt. How you doing?
Doing okay. We'll get to the Supreme Court in a second. As a college football guy, what's it like covering the Final Four?
Well, yeah, it's going to be my first one. It's quite a first one to cover, with the obviously COVID lingering still over everything and the capacity restrictions and everything being here in one city in Indianapolis. It's certainly been memorable so far, and I'm sure it's been unlike really any other tournament. Not that I would know because I've covered very few of them, but certainly a unique experience.
You have a feeling, are you a big college basketball guy at all?
No, I am not. In fact, I had to get a crash course in the 2020-2021 season before I came to Indy a week or more than a week ago. I had to read up on it. So no, I'm not super familiar. I've read up on it. I still am no expert and no near knowledgeable about the field and the teams than some others who are here. But I'm trying my best, and I'm really outside of some game coverage, I'm working on off the court stories here in Indianapolis and just how the city is hosting this and bracing for it, and so doing a lot more of that than actual game coverage.
Well, give me a nugget. What's something that you've seen, noticed, or working on that people would find interesting?
Well, I think it's pretty incredible what. First of all, the bubble just fascinates me here, or the quote-unquote bubble. 68 teams were here at one point. Basically, they had 16 teams at 4 different hotels here, and each hotel was closed to the public and basically, wrapped in cellophane, so to speak. Each hotel, nobody was let in. Players were only let outside very little here and there, and that came with escorts and things like that. So all that is interesting. So I've got hopefully a story, if I can get it done, coming out tomorrow on tales from the bubble during the NCAA tournament. You can imagine that there are some interesting things that have happened when you're closed off, kind of in a hotel for more than 3 weeks or so. So those things are interesting, I think, and just the whole bubble dynamic. And our first day here, now about a week and a half ago, I guess, we wrote a story about how, a little more about the bubble and how players and coaches that are in the bubble or at these hotels were getting food ordered to them and how it works. And it's all quite fascinating, and the NCAA, I know we don't praise them a whole lot, but they actually had a pretty good organization and plan for this thing. And not only that, but to credit the people at the Indy Sports Corporation and Visit Indy, they've done a lot, and they've had a lot of volunteers, and so it's been interesting. It's like a colossal undertaking here, and it's so far, right, it's worked out pretty well. Only one team, had to be sent home early.
He's on Twitter at Ross Dellenger. He joins us from Indianapolis. The other big story today is that the NCAA appeared before the Supreme Court. So there's obviously a lot of conversations about amateurism, NIL, all that sort of stuff. What was the point of today's hearing?
Yeah, not to get too much into the weeds, because my goodness, the legal lingo and all that stuff will really confuse you. But the bottom line of this case in this hearing is that what the Supreme Court has to decide is amateurism, and is the NCAA's amateurism model breaking federal law? Because in the NCAA's argument is that, because obviously there's two sides arguing, and we heard that today in front of the Supreme Court. The NCAA's argument is, yes, the amateurism model is okay. We're different from every other entity. We're a bunch of schools, so we don't have to pay athletes, even though we're getting all these billions of money and from TV contracts and all this stuff. We don't have to pay athletes. And the other side is, yes, you do. You're like everybody else, and you're breaking antitrust laws, which and I didn't really know much about antitrust just a couple of years ago, but now I feel like I'm an expert on it. I mean, it's just the amount of reading I've done, but antitrust obviously creates fairness in the marketplace and prevents monopolies and such. And so the opponents of the NCAA say the NCAA is a monopoly, so to speak, and has competitors, the schools, conglomerating together to say we're not paying our quote unquote labor. And you saw today the Supreme Court justices hammer the NCAA pretty good, and hammer the amateurism model pretty good, and call into question some things like coaches' salaries and all the money made by TV, and several of them called athletes workers and employees in unpaid labor. But they also expressed concern in a potential ruling, if they were to make a ruling against the NCAA, for that to open the door for more litigation down the line and destroy college sports. They said that. Several of them said they do not want to destroy college sports. So they have a decision before them. And like I said, not to get too much in the weeds of the case, the Alston case, but that's the bottom line is their decision. How narrow or broad will it be as it pertains to amateurism, specifically? And Matt, I think there's four ways they could rule, right? So number one, they could rule for the plaintiff, which is the former players. It's called the Alston case because he's a former player, Sean Alston. Mm-hmm. They could rule narrowly for him, but also keep intact in the decision, amateurism. Say amateurism is still okay. The NCAA is different, but we're ruling for the plaintiff, and here's what the NCAA has to do, which there's some educational awards. Number two, it could rule broadly for the plaintiff and destroy amateurism and say amateurism is no more. The NCAA is not an amateur organization, which obviously will change a lot. That would be a historic ruling and something that a lot of people don't expect. Number three, they could rule for the NCAA and say the lower court's ruling that the NCAA's amateur laws break antitrust, federal law. They could do that, and that would be a huge win for the NCAA.
Why don't people expect the court to rule broadly in favor of the plaintiff?
Well, so from talking to legal experts and attorneys and such, the Supreme Court rarely rules broadly. Apparently, It's just not something that happens very often. And if they rule broadly one way or the other, and that was the number four thing, is that if they ruled broadly for the NCAA, which is definitely not expected, but if they rule broadly either way, it's just it would be such a game changer. They just don't do that a lot. So I think they would probably rule narrowly in either way. And it just depends on, and this is a legal expert told me this morning, it's not necessarily who wins, quote, in quote, loses. It's how the decision is written, and how deeply do they rule and talk about amateurism. So that's the key here. It's not, yes, if they rule for the plaintiff, the former players, then NCAA schools will be allowed, and in some cases might have to, pay educational awards, basically academic bonuses as high as $5,800 to athletes. That's kind of the core of this case. That's the narrow ruling. But really, it's the decision and how deeply do they talk about amateurism. So that's the expectation before the hearing today, was that the NCAA would probably win on a narrow margin, or at least if they would lose on a narrow margin, then amateurism will be kept intact, though. But after the hearing, and after the way some of the justices, including the conservative justices, hammered the NCAA and really expressed what appeared to be a somewhat partial opinion against the NCAA and against amateurism, there are some people that believe that they might write a decision that could strip somewhat or weaken the NCAA's amateurism argument.
Wow. Okay, last thing for you. How much, or does this have to do with the current NIL conversations being had in every state legislature?
Yeah, so this is like the core of things right now, because although athletes would, I'm sure, certainly care to get that extra $5,900 in educational and academic bonuses, but really what we all care about, and what the big thing here is, how does this affect the name, image, and likeness debate? And if the court holds amateurism, strengthens amateurism, or says the NCAA can basically still keep amateurism and all that, then it's good for the NCAA, and they can write NIL legislation based off of the amateurism model. They can also take the Supreme Court's decision and use it in court against states who are passing NIL laws that will be effective, some of them July 1, Mississippi and Florida. Mississippi just joined Florida in that, and probably several other states. So the NCAA, if they rule in a slim margin in amateurism and keep it or even strengthen the amateurism, the NCAA's amateurism model, then it'll be used to have a more restrictive NIL legislation. If they rule the opposite and they weaken amateurism and they say, or they destroy it altogether and say, no, the NCAA's no more amateurism, the model is breaking federal law, then you're talking about a serious change to everything, including the NCAA's own NIL legislation will be different. State laws will probably be able to go into effect without a court potentially ruling to stop them. It gets real hairy at that point.
We'll expect a ruling in July?
Yeah, most people I've talked to believe, by the end of June, that the Supreme Court will rule.
By the time they tee it up and kick it off for the 2021 college football season, the landscape of intercollegiate athletics could look drastically different. Ross Dellenger, SI. Appreciate a couple of minutes as always, man. Thanks. Enjoy the Final Four this weekend.
All right, Matt. Thanks. All
right, we'll see you. That is Old Delly. He's on Twitter at Ross Dellenger. Give him a follow. Double duty, like fish out of water, man. It's a football guy covering the Supreme Court and college basketball. What you do, man. All right, it's after further review. We will knock out a quick break, go around the SEC Bourbon Dictionary about 15 minutes from right now. Ryan Clark in 45 minutes. He was out at LSU's Pro Day covering it for ESPN. We'll get RC's impressions of the winners and losers from Pro Day. I don't think there were any losers today, man. LSU's guys put up pretty solid numbers. We'll get to that. Glad you're here on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're thinking about dinner plans, Ichiban, always a great option. Essen near Perkins. And, of course, from Ichiban, their latest concept is Boru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. So, of course, Friday is Good Friday. It's Friday in Lent, the last Friday in Lent. If you're thinking of a non-meat option, Ichiban, of course, is a great option. Boru tonight or any night is really a great option as well. This is authentic Japanese ramen. Ramen places are kind of popping up all over the place now, but none are like this. A lot of those ramen places, man, they ship their noodles in bags from these distribution centers all over. Not Boru. They hand make every noodle. If you don't believe me, you go watch it for yourself. Right by the kiosk where you order, there's a big englassed room where you can watch someone hand making the noodles right there. They've got an awesome bar atmosphere as well, top shelf liquor, unique Asian cocktails, indoor-outdoor dining. Try something new. Try Boru Ramen in Electric Depot.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Go around the SEC in just a quick second. How about Chad Morris? Did you hear about this news? Chad Morris, of course, who was a Texas high school football legendary coach, went to Tulsa and Clemson as a coordinator, got a head coaching job at SMU, then, of course, at Arkansas. Didn't go too well, was 0-14 in the SEC, just 4-18 overall in his time at Arkansas. Then this past year was the OC at Auburn with Gus Malzahn. Of course, Malzahn gets fired, and his whole staff gets fired, which included Chad Morris, who is now a Texas high school football coach again. Chad Morris has been named the head coach of the Allen Eagles football program in Allen, Texas. This is the same program that Kyler Murray went through. So he replaces Terry Gambill, who was 65-4 over 5 years with a state championship to his credit. So big shoes to fill there for Chad Morris. A lot of people are going to laugh at this. I just know the cynical nature of sports fans. If it's not your guy, and even if it was your guy who fell on hard times, you laugh. I mean, there's been instances of this. John Chavis went back and coached high school in Tennessee. And Curly Holman surfaced as a high school football coach in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And a lot of people laughed. I don't think that that's necessarily funny. I actually have a lot of respect for him. I mean, the humility and the self-awareness. Like, if you're Chad Morris and you gave it the old college try, pun intended, and you just didn't do well as a college head football coach, but you want to be a head football coach, and you really enjoyed being a high school football coach, what's wrong with that? I mean, Chad Morris could have absolutely gone the route of so many coaches and gone to Nick Saban's School for Wayward Coaches and been an analyst on staff at Alabama for a couple of years and then surfaced again with an OC job or a group of 5 head coaching job or something along those lines after he rehabilitated his image, but he didn't want to do that. So he went to Allen, Texas. By the way, Chad Morris also made $735K last year as Auburn's offensive coordinator and signed a 6-year contract at Arkansas worth $3.5 million per year. So that averaged out or totaled $21 million. So Chad Morris pocketed $21 million to go 4-18 during his time at Arkansas and 0-14 in the SEC. Dude's got a ton of money, so go do what you want to do. If that's coach high school football, God bless. Apparently it is. So Chad Morris heading back to the high school ranks in Texas, the new head coach at Allen High School in Texas. All right, that's further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center and WilliamsonEYE.com. We will go around the SEC in just a quick second. Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro, less than 10 minutes from right now. But remember, if 2021 is the year you're going to see 2020, Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020. Schedule that free consultation. Do what I did. The process is so easy. And Dr. Blake Williamson, he's fantastic. Not only is he an internationally award and recognized ophthalmologist, he speaks at clinics all over the world, literally. Go look at his Instagram, all over the world, because he is bringing the new wave and progression into ophthalmology to us here in Baton Rouge. Routinely, the Williamson Eye Center is the first in the state to try this new procedure. So that's Dr. Blake Williamson. WilliamsonEYE.com. No matter your age or refractive issue, there is something they can do for everyone. If you want to live your life without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. WilliamsonEYE.com. WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, it is After Further Review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Redshirt freshman cornerback Jamar Rogers has entered the transfer portal following 1 year in Gainesville. Signed with Florida as a member of the 2020 recruiting class. He was a top 10 cornerback in the country. Was expected to see his role increase significantly in 2021 as Florida's secondary is undergoing a pretty large makeover, but Rogers will continue his career elsewhere.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia picked up a commitment from Australian punter Brett Thorson as a member of the class of 2022. So Thorson now becomes the 12th member of the class of 2022 in Athens. He will very likely be the guy who replaces senior Jake Camarda, who will be kicking in Athens his final season here in 2021.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Our Kansas junior guard Desi Sills has announced his intention to enter the transfer portal. 3 years at Arkansas, Sills played in 98 games, averaged better than 7 points, 2 boards per game. He was actually preseason All-SEC this year, but saw his minutes dwindle as the season went on. Arkansas made their Elite 8 run, and now Sills is heading elsewhere.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Bulldogs lost to Memphis in the NIT championship game. Shortly thereafter, freshman point guard Devion Smith has entered the transfer portal. Smith becomes the second Bulldog to enter the portal this week, joining freshman guard Keandre Montgomery. Smith's a former 4-star prospect, the number 11 point guard in the nation when he signed with with Mississippi State. Wrong Bulldogs. 6'1", 165, started 8 games, averaged 22 minutes a game as a freshman.
The Auburn Tigers.
And we have an update. The Auburn University bass fishing team will return to competition April 22nd of 2021 after originally being suspended for the remainder of the year. Administrators at Auburn had initially suspended the fishing club until January the 1st of 2022 for violating the university's COVID-19 policies. But without providing details about the violations, Auburn met with the fishing club and they have rescinded that punishment and instead says Auburn can start fishing again on April 22nd. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. That's fantastic news, isn't it? That Auburn's fishing team's going to fish again.
I mean, you hate to see a top 10 program fall to the wayside.
I tell you.
They're number 7 in the nation.
Crazy good.
Glad they get to be back at it. Although, you got to think they're going to drop out of the rankings in the time that they're off. So they'll have a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, I mean, can you stay in the rankings if you're not competing?
I mean, you're not losing.
Unless you're the college football playoff and you just gift Ohio State a top 4 spot.
That's true. You think Auburn is to bass fishing what Ohio State is to football?
Maybe so. Those bass holes. See what I did?
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
Bass.
Yeah.
Like the fish?
Yes.
But the suffix is AS.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it?
I do.
You know how
what does this do to recruiting?
You know how many people reached out to me yesterday associated with the LSU bass fishing team?
9.
Begging to come on the show.
Oh, my word.
I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. It's just a bit. Like, if there ever is need for us to discuss bass fishing at LSU, okay, but in the, let's see, what year is this, Brain?
This is 2021.
Okay, so we started this show in February of 2010. So how many years is that?
That would be 11.
Okay, 11. In the 11 years that we've done this show, do you care to take a guess how many times any member of my audience has clamored for me to talk bass fishing on this show?
I would guess that as of before yesterday, the number would be right about 0.
It was literally 0.
But now it's 2 days in a row. One more, that's a streak.
We've met our decade-long quota. All right, it's after further review. You know what we do talk about here? Whiskey. Taylor Calandro joins us next. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. My buddy Adam sent me this testimonial. AFR listener named Mike. They were able to save him $2,000 on his home, auto, and motorcycle insurance while bringing his wind hail deductible from $2,400 to $1,000. So think of it like this, right? Hail. We've had hail in Baton Rouge today. Let's say you have hail, you got roof damage, you need to get a roof replacement. You call your insurance company, it gets approved. Instead of paying $2,400, you only pay $1,000, and you get a brand new roof. Mike does anyway, because he called Insurance Network of Louisiana. And it costs him less money to lower that deductible. 293-0450. 293-0450.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in LaPlace has brand new 2020 Ford F-150s for only $29,995. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Bourbon Dictionary. We do it every Wednesday on a Whiskey Wednesday. Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director from Calandro, joins us to answer your booze question. So get them in. You can tweet me at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or you can always text your questions in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Ask your booze questions and get them answered right here. Taylor, how are you?
Good, Matt. What's happening?
Just doing a radio show. Appreciate you as always for joining us to partake. Did you know that LSU? Absolutely. Did you know LSU had a bass fishing team?
You know what? I did not know LSU did, but I knew a guy that fished on Louisiana Tech's fishing team.
Oh.
So, if Louisiana Tech's got a fishing team, I'm assuming LSU does too.
They do. Found it out yesterday.
That's pretty cool.
If people were bass fishing, what whiskey do you think they would drink?
Miller Lite.
Huh.
That's what I would drink on a boat.
What would be the whiskey equivalent to Miller Lite?
Oh man, if I was on a boat and I was drinking whiskey, I would get some ginger ale and put it on ice with like some Jameson or something light and refreshing.
Oh, that's a good idea. Now, and by the way, you're going to piss off the Bud Light and the Coors Light people if you just go Miller. And what about the local guys like Tin Roof or Rally Cap or any of those guys?
They all know my stance on everything, and it's a running joke that I just drink Miller Lite.
Okay.
With all these people, but
respect.
Yeah, if you haven't tried Jameson and ginger ale on ice in the summer, man, you got to try. It's just a nice, crisp, refreshing drink.
I like it, man, because honestly, during the summer months, my whiskey consumption goes down because it's just too hot during the day. So, like if I'm out by the pool or something, I'm just more of a tequila rocks guy. Tequila, maybe a twist of lime, something like that.
Yeah, I found that drink actually in Ireland, in Dublin. Everybody was drinking. We were there in the summer. It was really hot, and everybody suggested, "Oh, Jameson and ginger ale. That's what we all drink." And I tried it. I'm like, man, this is really good.
All right, I might give that a go. All right, let's get to your questions. You got questions for Taylor? You know what to do. Fire away. Tweet me at Matt Moscona. Jump at the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text me in the 225-396-4400. Brian Stacy says, Taylor, what's a bourbon that you like that no one's talking about?
I would say Old Elk, but I mean, I think Old Elk's gaining a lot more traction. If you would have asked me 6 months ago to a year ago, and I would have said Old Elk, everybody would have been like, what? But I think that's one of the smaller distilleries that's doing really, really good things. And like I said, it's starting to gain traction. But, yeah, Old Elk for sure.
Do they have national distribution? I mean, are they everywhere now?
I don't know if they're everywhere. I think Luis is trying to get national distribution. I think they've got distribution in a lot of places. But as far as all over the country, I'm not 100% sure about that.
By the way, for those that don't know, Luis is Luis Gonzalez, who's the CEO of Old Elk out of Fort Collins, Colorado, who's from Baton Rouge. He's a young guy who's just doing awesome stuff.
And he grew up with my brother-in-law. They were like best friends as kids. It's just a small world.
He went to MBS where I went, which is even cooler. Pelican
that's right,
Pride.
He sure did. Yeah. Is that what y'all do?
Well, we never did that. I was just trying to make Pelican sound. I don't know what Pelican sounds make.
I was a Blue Jay, so I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, whatever. You little chirpers, you and Gordy. Gerald Mathern said, ask Taylor if he knows the background behind Louisiana barrel pick Blanton's making the rounds in the area. What's up with that?
I saw that on Facebook yesterday. Well, I saw one for a Jackson liquor store in Mississippi, I think. That was picked by Harlan Wheatley. I don't think that's a Louisiana barrel, unless there's another barrel that I'm mistaken. And Harlan Wheatley is the master distiller at Buffalo Trace. And I saw they were doing it for $100 a bottle, which I think is too much for Blanton's.
I would tend to agree. Ask Taylor, what's the retail price of E.H. Taylor single barrel?
Somewhere in the $60 to $70 range, I think.
Okay. Alistar Musa,
which is actually, I'm sorry, E.H. Taylor single barrel is stupid good if you find it. It's really, really good.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Getting married in the fall. Most of my family's from the UK. Any recommendations for Louisiana booze? I can get them.
Don't insult those people that are coming from the UK. Please don't. Just don't overthink it with the booze. Now, feed them all the Louisiana food you can possibly feed them, but I wouldn't bring Louisiana booze into the picture now.
Brandon Frederick asked Taylor if he would mix Scotch or Irish whiskey into an infinity bottle.
Sure. Why not? And for people that don't know what an infinity bottle is, we've talked about it before. You just basically pour the last little bit of your bottles that you have and mix them all together and eventually drink them. But yeah, I'd put whatever in there.
John Chouette said, is it more ginger ale or more Jameson?
It depends on how your day's going, I guess.
I love it.
I would go more Jameson, but that's just me. I'm a big boy too, so I don't know.
Ask Taylor favorite Japanese whiskey.
I'll just go with the very vanilla response to Yamazaki. I think Yamazaki's great. It's very hard to find, but Yamazaki's great. All the Japanese whiskey I've had is all pretty good. We've actually got one right now. It's called Oishi. OISH blah, blah, blah. It's finished in cherry, some kind of cherry wood barrels, and it is fantastic. We have that at the store right now.
Has Taylor thoughts about adding water drops to neat whiskey?
Sure. I think adding water to whiskey or putting whiskey in ice, when you add water, you put it in on ice, especially when you put it on ice, the drink changes throughout because the ice is melting.
Yep.
When you add water, it adds another dimension too.
He is Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Get your spirits, whatever you're drinking, and enjoy a Whiskey Wednesday. Appreciate you as always, dude. Thanks.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
All right, man. We'll see you. We do that every Wednesday here. It's been a pretty popular segment. We appreciate Taylor for making time each Wednesday to join us. Appreciate all you who join us with your questions. It's After Further Review. Sports Center coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Some Saints roster news when we come back. And Ryan Clark in about 20 minutes.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. And let me remind you that if you are on the west bank of Baton Rouge, if you're in Port Allen, Shawbills in Port Allen is actually hiring a service technician. So if you are a service technician, an experienced service tech, and you're looking for a career instead of a job, Shawbills wants to talk to you. There's 18 locations across South Louisiana. They're always looking for great people. So if you're ever interested, you could always apply to any of the Shawbills locations. But in particular right now, they need some help on the west bank of Baton Rouge there at their Port Allen location. So either apply in person, online, or tell a friend. Shawbills is hiring. 401k. They have great retirement benefits, health benefits as well at Shawbills. They treat you like family because they're family-owned and operated, just like they've been for more than 50 years. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, you can get a Corolla with 0% financing or buy it for $19,158. That's 0% financing. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Investigators in L.A. County now know what caused Tiger Woods' SUV crash back on February 23rd, but that information will not be released publicly unless Woods gives his permission to do so. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Seahawks will sign wideout Tyler Lockett to a 4-year, $69 million contract extension, $37 million guaranteed. That deal will also save the team $8 million against the salary cap this year. Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor is asking for a 12-year, $385 million contract. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, one of his teammates, Pete Alonso, says why not?
Not only is he has the physical resume, but how he works and how he is, it's unbelievable. I think he deserves any contract that he signs.
Pete Alonso on Barton Hahn. One Nationals player has tested positive for COVID-19. 4 teammates and a staff member have been quarantined for contact tracing.
The next generation of paint protection is here. New 303 graphene nanospray coating will provide up to 12 months of professional level protection, insane water beating, and jaw-dropping shine with one simple application. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
The Brain.
And the Brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU Pro Day was today. Ryan Clark was there covering the event for ESPN. He will be with us in about 13 minutes from right now. Also, Paul Maneri met with the media earlier today, previewing the Vanderbilt series. We'll get to that. Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball next hour. Ton to do. Glad you're here. So it's official. Marcus Williams has signed his franchise tender. So he will be a member of the New Orleans Saints in 2021 and very likely beyond that as well. This really was just a formality, but it didn't actually happen, him signing the tender, until Tuesday. So the franchise tag will guarantee Marcus Williams $10.612 million for this season. So he signed the tender, meaning he could play 1 year under that tender at $10.612 million, and then presumably hit free agency next year. Or the Saints could tag him again next year. Or the Saints could agree to a long-term extension with Marcus Williams before July 15th. If they are going to agree on a long-term deal, that's when they'd have to get that extension done by July 15th. So I think the question becomes, so a couple of things. Number one, this is really good news, and most importantly, because it avoids a sort of cumbersome quarrel between player and franchise. For example, 2014 Saints and Jimmy Graham. That's the last time the Saints used the franchise tag, and you remember how that played out. Jimmy Graham wanted to be classified as a receiver, and the Saints wanted him to be tagged as a tight end. The reason, obviously, is because the franchise tag value takes the average salary of the top 5 players at that position. Receivers are paid more than tight ends. So Jimmy Graham wanted to be tagged as a receiver, not a tight end, if you remember the whole story, how it went. And they had to go to an independent arbitrator. I mean, it was that contentious between Graham, his representation, and the Saints. And a short time later, of course, Saints traded Jimmy Graham to Seattle for Max Unger and a first-round pick, which I think became Stephon Anthony. So that's a bummer. But you understand, it can be contentious. Look at what the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott have gone through the last couple of off seasons before agreeing to their deal this year. It is going to be interesting to see if Marcus Williams maybe bets on himself. We've seen some free agents do this. In this NFL offseason, we've seen some free agents sign 1 or 2 year contracts, deciding not to sign the 4 or 5 year deal, betting on the come, because the NFL TV deal is coming. A 17-game regular season is no doubt going to increase revenue with a new television contract. So the salary cap's going to go up. Salaries are going to go up. So guys who sign a free agent deal next year or the year after, presumably, would have a much bigger deal than they'd sign now. So maybe Marcus Williams decides to play a year on the tag this year, risk injury or a bad season. Or maybe he takes a long-term extension now, which would be team-friendly, where they could make, the cap number more team-friendly now and backload the deal. However they want to do it, they'll get to that eventually. But ultimately, what I will be most interested to see is how much the Saints are willing to invest in Marcus Williams. Because you kind of get the feeling when we talk about Marcus Williams that Saints fans look at him and remember the misses. They remember the Minneapolis Miracle. They remember some of the misplays and not the great plays. And I'm here to tell you, when you actually peel back the layers, Marcus Williams has been one of the best safeties in the NFL over the last 4 years. Again, it's one of those positions where you tend to only really notice when he does something wrong. But he's been incredible. Pro Football Focus ranked Marcus Williams, but if you're watching that free agent rank, that was all players at free agent, just ranking safeties in the NFL. They ranked him coming into the season the 13th best safety in the NFL. One spot behind Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills. Let's look at Marcus Williams' first 4 years in the league compared to Micah Hyde's first 4 years in the league. Hyde in 4 years played 63 games. Williams has played in 60. Regular season. Doesn't include playoffs. Hyde, 8 interceptions. Marcus Williams, 13. Hyde, 227 tackles. Williams, 246. Hyde just got a deal in Buffalo that pays him an average of $9.6 million. 2 years, $19.25 million contract. I mean, you can keep going. The number one safety in the NFL, Jamal Adams. Adams and Williams came into the NFL the same year in 2017. They were rookies in 2017. Jamal Adams played in 58 games. Williams has played in 60. Told you Marcus Williams has 13 interceptions. Jamal Adams, 2. Now, Adams has about 100 tackles more than Marcus Williams because he plays a little bit of a hybrid type position. But the point is, no matter who you line him up against, Marcus Williams in his first 4 years in the NFL has been as good as any safety in the NFL in their first 4 years currently in the NFL. So the Saints are going to be up against it because they're going to have to pay Marcus Williams like a top 5 safety in the NFL because that's what he warrants because he's played like that, even though sometimes we may not think it or we focus more so on the misplays and not the plays that he's made. But the plays he has made have been plentiful during his first 4 seasons in the NFL, which is why, in part, the Saints have been so bullish on him and why they decided Marcus Williams is the guy we're paying, not Trey Hendrickson, because Williams is the guy who's been consistently doing it over his first 4 years in the NFL, a guy who's in his physical prime, at a position that continues to see, as the NFL becomes more and more of a passing league, increased importance. So Saints are going to keep their safety tandem intact with Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams. How much are they going to pay? I don't know, but you better believe it's going to be more on average than what they're going to pay him this year on the franchise tag. Marcus Williams officially signs his franchise tag. Will he play on the franchise tag this year, or will they get a long-term deal? I'm here to tell you the Saints will be much better off signing that dude to a long-term deal now. And there is risk because maybe his production declines after you sign him to a deal. But you weigh risk and reward. What if the opposite is true? What if he plays 1 year, has an all-pro caliber season, and then next year with the new TV deal, you're paying him even more than you would now? So that is the risk that you run right now. The Saints are going to have to make that decision. But Marcus Williams is going to get paid, and he has now officially signed his franchise tender, so he will be in New Orleans regardless for the 2021 season. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Remember, get on by and test drive. They're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. So even if maybe you're outside of Baton Rouge, maybe you're in New Orleans, maybe you're in Lafayette, maybe you're north of here, Alec, whatever it may be, you may have a Volkswagen dealership nearer you, but when you're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer and you move more inventory than anyone, what that means is you can generally offer better deals. So maybe it's worth the drive into Baton Rouge to see our friends at South Point. Before you make the drive, just shop them online. You can work out your financing online. Call them. See if they have the vehicle you want. If not, they can get it. Then make the trip in. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Ryan Clark will join us here in about 5 minutes from right now. One other quick note from the NFL today. The NFL has announced they're very likely to expand their international series to play in both Germany and in South America. The games in South America will likely be in Brazil. And they're eager to get into Germany because Germany is big. It's a wealthy nation. And I didn't realize this, but Germany apparently has a very large English-speaking population, most likely because of military bases, et cetera. But, and there was also German teams in NFL Europe, so American football is apparently still very popular in Germany. So that does make a lot of sense. It's hard to be upset with the NFL or really any business for trying to expand its reach. And the reason the NFL wants to have this international series makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, you have a foothold as the most popular sport in the United States, but now you're trying to expose your brand to Asia, to Europe, to South America. I get it. What I don't like about this is different than other businesses where if you bring your business international, it's just growth. This affects the competitive balance in your league. We already know that the NFL is going to a 17-game schedule, so consider this. What if you're playing 8 home games and 9 road games, and then you have to play an international game? Effectively, if one of your home games is one of the international games, well, really you're playing 7 home games and 10 road games, creating a greater imbalance. If the opposite is true, it's a year where you have 9 home games and 8 road games. If you play a air quotes home game internationally, then really it's 8 home games and 9 road games. You don't get the extra home game. You don't get the benefit of it. So it creates a further schedule imbalance. And I went back and looked today. They started the international series in 2007 with the games in London. That year, 2007, the Giants played a home game in London and won. And the Giants in 2007, of course, won the Super Bowl. That is the only time that a team has played any international game in that series and made it to the Super Bowl. No other Super Bowl participant since the Giants in 2007 has played an international game in the season that they played in the Super Bowl. Not even just Super Bowl winners, participants. Even everybody that lost the Super Bowl from then. Only one. Giants in 2007. Something be said for it. That travel is a bear. It affects your schedule. It affects the competitive balance. This will take it even further. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Pluckers. Quick break. LSU Pro Day was today. Ryan Clark was there covering the event for ESPN. He'll join us next with his observations. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Final day of the month. Final chance for me to remind you this month that March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And I have been telling you all this month and been encouraging you to get screened. If you're 50 years old or if you have not had your colonoscopy, brgeneral.org to learn more and to schedule your colonoscopy. brgeneral.org. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths among American adults, and it can be prevented with proper screening. brgeneral.org. And of course, everyone with the COVID vaccine becoming more available to everyone wants to learn more. And if you do want to learn more about the COVID-19 vaccine, go to brgeneral.org. Right there on the homepage, you can learn more about the COVID-19 vaccine. You can learn how to schedule your shot, all the questions you may have about the COVID-19 vaccine. It's all there online at brgeneral.org, right on the homepage. brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in Laplace has brand new 2020 Ford F-150s for only $29,995. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service. HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, presented by open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, LSU had its pro day today, and what we learned is that LSU has players that are fast, strong, and athletic. Ryan Clark was there covering the event for ESPN. Our friend's good enough to join us here. RC, how are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Not as good as Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall and dudes that made themselves an awful lot of money today. All right, so you were out there. If you would, start just by sort of setting the scene for us. Who was there, from NFL teams of note, and what was the day like?
I mean, it was electric, man. I think, you had most, if not all, of the NFL teams represented in some way, which is rare when you don't have a quarterback. You don't necessarily, normally get the teams to come out that way. Chris Greer was there from Miami, obviously wide receiver coaches from all across the league. And so it was one of those cool electric moments that LSU can present to you at pro days because of just what you said, the type of athletes that they recruit, that they develop. And, it was crazy, man. It was a great pro day. Jamar Chase solidified himself to me as the #1 wide receiver in the draft and the most impressive athlete that I saw the whole day. still has another year to play corner at LSU.
Wait, so was Stingley out there?
Yeah, he was just there, the underclassmen, they come to support. But there was a point, I'm talking to Sting, his father, Eli, and Coach Raymond, and we were just sitting there, and new defensive coordinators talking to, two other guys who were there, two other scouts, two scouts that were there. Obviously, he probably knows them from working in the league, and they're staring at Sting and talking about Sting. And then I'm looking at Sting, and I'm like, man, how stinking tall are you? And he's like, like 6, and he's still a child. He's like 6'1" plus. I don't know, RC. And it just made me. And when he said that, I'm looking at these people basically slobbering through their COVID mask, looking at him, and he's trying to figure out how stinking tall he is, and he thinks it's funny, And so, but it was a beautiful day, man. I think the excitement surrounding Jamar was electric. And then, I'm on TV, I'm doing Get Up, and I could just hear in the back, Jamar Chase, first jump, 41 inches. And I'm like, oh, holy hell. Right? And then it's Jamar Chase, broad jump, 11 feet. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And, I'm standing at the end of the 40. He runs. I'm standing behind a scout. That scout has him at 4.34. So I walk over to him. And I don't know if you've ever really talked to Jamar, but he's just not very nice. Like, he's not. No, I'm just saying, man. Like, no disrespect. Like, I love him, and I've known him since he was 16. He's just a mean person. Like, he's a mean dude, and he's very serious, So I walk over to him just to tell him it's his time so he can know what he wants to do for the second. And I just walk over. I don't say, hey, Jamar, anything. I'm like 4.3. And I'm thinking he's going to be like, oh, great, oh, that's good, or that. You know what he tells me, Matt? He goes, better be. And then he goes, puts his shirt on and tells people he's not running anymore. And it just made me think about how much of an alpha male he truly is. Terrace Marshall is probably going to go late first round. He had an excellent day as well. Justin Jefferson breaks the record for rookie wide receivers. And all of these dudes are in the same room. I mean, hell, bro. Racey McMath was 6'2", 220 pounds, and ran 4.3.
That's so crazy, man.
And this is the room. This is the wide receiver room at LSU. But there was one dude in there who was the man. There was one dude in there who controlled the pulse of the room, and that's Jamar Chase. And it was never more evident to me than it was today.
Ryan Clark is our guest. So Jamar Chase has the big day. And you said he solidified himself as the best receiver in this draft. How do you – obviously it's splitting hairs, but how do you differentiate Chase and Devontae Smith?
One, I think size matters. Devontae, given 3 months to prepare for pro days, is still about 170 pounds. Jamar actually lost weight to be 201 pounds to run well and be in the best possible shape to perform well today. Both of the guys are over 6 foot. We don't really know what Devontae runs, but I think he's fast. But Jamar's 4.3. Jamar has a 41-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump. But here's, to me, how you differentiate the guys, and it's the film. Devontae Smith's film is phenomenal. Combat catches, great route runner, right? A lot of his catches were screens. A lot of them were switch routes or routes designed to get him in great matchups. Do you know what Jamar Chase did at 19 years old? Not 21, not 22. At 19 years old, they lined him up at the X receiver, standing on the line across from C.J. Henderson, who's the Jacksonville Jaguars' now number one cornerback, across from A.J. Terrell, who's now the Atlanta Falcons' number one quarterback, Trevon Diggs, who's the number one cornerback in Dallas. And you know what they told him? We're going to call your route, and if you get open, we're going to throw it to you. Matter of fact, we believe in you so much, sometimes if you don't get open, we're going to throw it to you anyway. And you know what he did, Matt?
That's pretty good.
1,700, 21.2 per catch, 20 touchdowns. And so I think when you go back and you truly break down the film, you're going to realize there wasn't any screens. There wasn't any smoke screens. They never tried to run Jamar Chase away from the dude that was covering him. They said, you're just going to have to stop him. And people couldn't.
He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Ryan Clark talking a little LSU Pro Day. Jamar obviously had the big day. Who else would you say was the big winner today?
I think Terrace. Solidified himself as a first-round pick. If you listen to, talking to some of the wide receiver coaches and some of the scouts that I know, they didn't expect him to be 4.3. And then even with the 4.3, they didn't expect him to be so sudden in his route running. Just when he played the slot, it wasn't a lot of, multi-moves in his routes or stems or sticks. And he was extremely smooth still today, but also you could see the burst in and out of cuts. I thought Jacoby Stevens did himself a huge, huge service today, or positive, or whatever you want to call it, to jump 42, to have an over 10.5-foot broad, to run 4.5. There's so many questions about his athleticism. I mean, Matt, if you saw him walking into the stadium, I was driving in to park and he was walking in the indoor, he looked like a different human. You can tell there was a focus on staying slim, on being quick, on moving well. We saw those things. Tyler Shelvin to come in probably 35 pounds less than what I saw him when he came over to Traction right when he opted out. I just feel like all of these guys just did an extremely good job. And to, have an opportunity to perform in the way that they did, for it to be such a different year without having the combine. I thought everybody did well, but I think Jamar had the most to both lose and gain. And he did everything that he could possibly do in showing up the way he did.
I wanted to ask you about Tyler Shelvin as well, because I saw waiting at 350 and thought, man, that's big. How does that play in the minds of NFL GMs and personnel when he is that big?
I mean, it depends on if they knew he was 385 in October.
But does it really still matter, though? Because 350 still seems really big.
No, 350 is big. At 350, I think it definitely plays in the mind of the NFL scouts, because it says, okay, if you opted out, you've clearly been working on your weight since September. And with working on your weight since September, even though I think it's good that you lost 35 pounds, 350 is as low as you can get. So let's add money to that. Now we can go to Ruth Chris whenever we want. Now we can eat Blue Stove chicken and Empire wings or whatever it is that we seem to love whenever we want. There's no one standing over us saying we have to do a certain thing. Can you control your weight? Do you have that discipline? And so I do think that and those are questions that Tyler's going to have to answer going forward. And I think when you get into draft rooms, you say to yourself, he can only play the nose, right? Because someone that heavy is not necessarily a 3 technique. And even in playing the nose, does this dude ever get up to 400 pounds? Like, and at 28, is he 400? And so you're right, Matt. That's going to be a question that he has to answer, and something that's going to have to be considered when thinking of drafting him.
Hey, before you go, between now and the draft, what more could these guys do to positively impact their draft status?
Well, I think it's about relationship, right? When dudes become evenly matched, right? If you're sitting at number 26 or 7 and you're thinking of drafting Terrace Marshall, and you're looking at, whether it's Bateman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or, whoever it might be at that spot, like, do I like this dude? Does he seem like a competitor? Is he able to learn on the Zoom calls and understand, what type of offense we run? Does he seem quick? And I don't mean quick as far as in and out of cuts, but quick as in understanding what I'm saying and being able to apply it and regurgitate it. And so I think that's really all you can do from this point. But Matt, if scouts are doing things that they're supposed to do, the tape is supposed to tell you. I was speaking with Ike Hilliard, who I played with first in New York, and then he was the wide receiver coach in Washington my last year. He's now in Pittsburgh, so we're kind of linked in many different ways. He he started to talk. I was like, what do you come here for? Like, what are you looking for? He was like, oh, you kind of want to get a sense of how they move. He's like, they'll send me all the time. He's like, as you can see, I don't have a pen. He's like, but you do your best. You want to talk to guys. You want to get to know them. You want to get a feel for them. You want to know what type of dude they are. And so from now on out, it's about what type of dude are you, and how does that project to us using you as someone on our team.
Ryan Clark on Twitter at RealRClark25. LSU Pro Day today. By all accounts, a really good day for the LSU guys out there. Hey, man, always appreciate a couple of minutes. I know you've been all over ESPN's platforms today, so thanks for making a couple of minutes for us, man.
Man, you already know. For you, brother, I got you.
I appreciate it, RC. We'll see you, man.
Hi, my man.
All right, that is Ryan Clark. This is After Further Review, presented by Pluckers. We will knock out a quick break. Paul Maneri did preview the LSU Vanderbilt series, which gets underway tomorrow, but a really good day for all the LSU Tigers. I mean, we started the show as joking a little bit about, obviously, LSU's guys being fast and athletic and strong. I mean, we know that, but it's a great opportunity for them to go out, especially with no combine, to be able to do it in front of the scouts where, you know, you heard Jamar Chase say it. It's not a day where he's focusing on football. He's focusing on track, really. Now it's more focusing on football and getting ready to be somebody's number one, whoever that may be. All right, it's After Further Review. Appreciate Ryan Clark spending a couple of minutes with us. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. All right, we're not got a quick break. Come back, talk a little LSU baseball as Tigers get ready to welcome in the number one team in all the land. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I actually got this text into the show from Cole Piers, who said, Matt, I actually just left Clegg's on Greenwell Springs for my 3rd load of soil, adding to our vegetable garden. I can confirm a lot of new plants. We drive in from New Roads area to shop at Clegg's. So many people do, because they are the largest garden center in the state. And you can support a great local company that supported our community for more than 60 years. And remember, not only in this spring is Clegg's bursting with new plants and flowers and trees and shrubs and vegetable plants and Johnny Naylor's vegetable seeds. And, of course, if you want soil or mulch by the bag or in bulk, they got all of it, but they're also partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So whatever you would find at a True Value Hardware Store, you can find at Clegg's. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Never fails. Spring has sprung, and then there's always one more. There's always one more. Always, always, always one more cold snap. There's always that weekend out at the box where you think you're into the 80s, and then you're going to be in inevitably the 90s and the triple digits, and then you get that one cold snap. Well, that's this weekend. A weekend where the pitchers don't need any help, but they're likely going to get it. The high in Baton Rouge on Thursday looking like it's going to be, or this may actually LSU released this weather for the games. It looks like first pitch 56 degrees Thursday, and then we are looking at these are game time temperatures. 56 degrees on Thursday, 53 degrees on Friday, and then Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock first pitch. They're looking at about 69 degrees at first pitch. So it is going to be a crisp weekend out at the box for LSU and Vanderbilt. And as I mentioned, the pitchers don't need any help. Vanderbilt's bringing in the best rotation, the best 1-2 punch that college baseball has seen in a decade. And LSU saw the last 1-2 punch that was as good as this one, and that was Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer at UCLA back in 2010. And LSU went out to Los Angeles and lost that regional there as the defending national champion. Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter have been outstanding. They are likely going to be the top 2 picks in this summer's draft. Jack Leiter threw a no-hitter 2 weeks ago, left with a no-hitter after 7 innings this past week. They're awesome. And for an LSU team that has really struggled to hit SEC pitching, there couldn't be a bigger challenge than facing these 2 guys. And Paul Maneri, who talked to the media today, knows it.
When we faced him, I think we had.
Can you start just so we can know the beginning?
Rocker was outstanding when we faced him. I think we had 5 hits in 5 innings against them. I think we might have scored a run or 2. But they had such a great lineup that year. They won the national championship, and they got to us pretty early. I think they took command of the game early, and I think he only struck out 2 batters in 5 innings against us. But you could tell the talent was there. And now he's got a couple years of experience under his belt. So, all the talk going into the season was that he was going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, and he may very well be. If he's not, it's probably going to be because his teammate is going to be the number 1 pick. So, I'm sure that, if there's better pitchers out there, then they're pretty outstanding because these 2 kids are really good.
Kumar Rocker, of course, son of Tracy Rocker, former Auburn legend. Rocker and Jack Leiter are going to be the 1-2 punch that LSU is going to face. I would have liked to have seen, I talked about this, I would have liked to have seen LSU pitch backwards, acknowledging that what you're up against is monumental. And I would like to see LSU give itself the best opportunity to take a game in this series, and that would be to pitch backwards and let Landon Marceau go in Game 3. If you feel like Marceau is your best pitcher, then I would pitch him in Game 3 to give yourself the best opportunity to win. And you may say, well, we're LSU, and we don't do that. We don't pitch backwards, and you don't admit defeat. A lot of really good programs did that against Aaron Nola. I mean, Florida has been as good a program as there's been in college baseball. Back in 2014, they pitched backwards against LSU because they didn't want to run up against Aaron Nola. A lot of teams did that, just conceding they weren't going to beat that kid who threw 50-some-odd scoreless innings consecutively. He was that guy. You just weren't going to beat him, and it feels like that with Vanderbilt. So Paul Maneri's not going to do that, though. He's not going to pitch backwards, which means LSU's hitters have got to step up, and Maneri did acknowledge that as well. Hitters got to show up and perform this weekend.
It's a great challenge for our guys, and I think it's a challenge that our kids are really looking forward to. And we're not gonna cower. We're gonna rise up and enjoy the opportunity. And like I tell our players, your aspirations are to play in the major leagues, well, these are the caliber of pitchers you're going to face in the major league. So if you really do vision yourself as a major league ball player, those are the kind of pitchers that you have to be able to hit.
The difference is they're not major league players right now. They're college players, and they're trying to win a college championship, and that's why I'm not super fond of this approach. Because we walked through the math earlier this week. LSU's got to get a game in this series. You got to get a game in this series. The last time LSU missed the postseason in 2011, they won 13 SEC games. They were 13-17. And they got snubbed that year, make no mistake about it. If I remember correctly, their RPI was something like 23, or it might have even been in the teens, but they got totally snubbed, but avoid that number is basically your task here. And as we went through the remainder of the schedule, obviously they'll have to do something extraordinary to get to 500, and that's not to say it can't happen, but you got to win a game this weekend. And I think winning a game, your best chances, statistically giving yourself the best chance would be kind of pitching backwards and trying to win game 3, but they're not going to do that. Now, the weather projected to be cold and the wind blowing in, and the caliber of pitchers that you're going to see likely means you're going to see a defensive and pitching dominant weekend. As a result, Paul Mainieri says that he's going to have more of a defensive-minded lineup in the field against Vandy.
Each of the players that have played there have brought some strengths to us and also some limitations to us. So, I do think with the wind blowing in this weekend, which is what the forecast is for, I have this sense that the games are going to be rather low scoring, the caliber of the pitching, and the wind blowing in, the cold air. So I'm at second base. I'm probably going to lean towards the defense, at second base, and that would probably lean towards Collier Cranford being our second baseman. I think his range, his steadiness, his speed, if we can get on base, all those things would probably be the way that we would go.
So Cranford will go at second. I know we talked about it last weekend as well. I just don't think LSU is good enough defensively to warrant putting a defensive lineup on the field. I think you go offense. I mean, you try to find a way to string together hits and put runs on the board. I think you should have Arnold at second. Now, the other thing Mainieri said is that he's likely going to start Will Safford in center, which I do like. Safford's a guy that was supposed to be this team's everyday third baseman, struggled a little defensively there in preseason drills. And they kind of had a revolving door there early in the season, but Safford's bat has been one of the more consistent, which was throughout fall. And I like having Will Safford. I don't know that he makes you that much better in center field, but I think it's what and what. I think if you're going to put your best defensive center fielder, it would be Dylan Cruz. But if Cruz is going to stay in right, and your choices are Safford, Sanford, Drost, and DiGiacomo, Safford had the most consistent bat in fall and in preseason. So see if he can maybe get you a little bit of offense, get on base. Got on base 3 times against South Alabama. 1 hit, a walk, and a hit by pitch. So see if maybe he can find a way to get on base this weekend. So a daunting task, no doubt, for LSU facing this Vanderbilt team. But it is baseball. Baseball is a weird game. So see if the Tigers can go find a way to maybe scratch out an improbable series win. But they'll get underway tomorrow out at the box. 6 o'clock, game 1, 6:30 and then 8 o'clock is game 2, then 2 o'clock on Saturday for game 3, LSU and Vanderbilt. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Been telling you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. I've been doing the Ideal Protein Diet, down 21 pounds in less than 2 months. If you're trying to get beach body ready, the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana can help. And if diet and exercise aren't helping with trouble spots, the new specials for the month of April, steep discounts on Vaser Lipo, VeloShape, UltraShape. You really want to attack those areas that diet and exercise can't, your love handles, maybe some of the little belly fat that's really stubborn, maybe it's your glutes or whatever it could be. They can help. theantiagingclinics.com. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Kenny Doran tweeted and said, how is it LSU baseball's hoping to go 500 in the SEC? Kenny, my preseason prediction for this team was 16-14. Nobody seemed to really want to hear this, but I'll say it again. LSU had one guy coming into the season, one, who had hit in SEC play. It was Cade Beloso, and that guy's batting about .230 right now. One guy. I think too many times we get caught up in what we think things are supposed to be. And I'm not telling you need to say that that's great or acceptable or anything like that, but that's realistic. That's what the projection was for this team and this season. They were picked, I believe, 4th in the West. Did you just overlook all of that? This was supposed to be a bit of a struggle. Great frontline pitching, really questionable offense. The question was, could the pitching carry the team until the offense caught up? Some of the struggles we're seeing right now, I think, were to be expected. See if they can get on track. All right, it's at further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Brain will have Tigers in the pros as we wrap up hour number 1. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, joins us 30 minutes from right now. We'll ask him some of those bigger picture questions, too. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, even though we're going to have a little bit of a cold snap this weekend, it is time. It is time to call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air to schedule them to come out for the preseason AC tune-up. It is time. Just $97. Save you $30 off the regular price. And remember, whenever you have River City's 1 Hour Air come out, you're going to have a great trained technician. Like this review that came in said, via Google, said our AC went out at 3 a.m., called for service at 6 a.m., service technicians arrived at 7:30 a.m., replaced the compressor, fan motor, and corroded relay contact. Very professional, made a thorough inspection to find the problem, was completed very quickly. How about that? AC goes out at 3:30, and before 8 o'clock in the morning, they're there and fixing the issue? That's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in Laplace has brand new 2020 Ford F-150s for only $29,995. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
You guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Baseball returns tomorrow, Major League Baseball. Means minor league baseball soon to follow. Chattanooga Lookouts kick off their season on May the 4th, a little more than a month from now. They got work to do. Someone stole their mascot, Louie. Let's see if I can get a picture of this guy. Louie. L-O-O-I-E. Louie Lookout, the mascot of the Chattanooga Lookouts. He's been stolen. There he is. Check out this guy. He's got a big head and eyes, and his nose is actually like the bill of a cap. You can pull that up there. Look at Louie there. Someone apparently broke into AT&T Field there in Chattanooga, stole the mascot costume and hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise and equipment. Police are asking for tips to help locate Louie.
Wait, the Chattanooga Lookouts mascot was stolen?
Yes. Louie.
You would think.
Louie the Lookout.
You would think if every team out there, they would have had a lookout.
Brain has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
We got an update.
On what?
We got an update.
On Louie the Lookout?
Yeah.
Was he really just a Western Kentucky hilltopper in disguise?
I don't know, looks like it, doesn't he? Right. About 50 pounds lighter, maybe.
Still, look,
he
put a hat on him.
He doesn't have the big gut.
Yeah.
Look, pull this up, Paul. But look, breaking. Louie has been found safe and sound. After being mascot napped, Louie the Lookout's been returned home safe. The lovable Lookout would like to thank the Chattanooga community, his friends, Chattanooga PD, for their support and assistance. Louie the Lookout has been found.
They got Chattanooga PD involved.
Somebody stole the mascot, man. Baby Louie, welcome home.
I'm just saying, then this call goes over the radio for be on the lookout.
For Louie. L-O-O-I-E. Louie. Louie the Lookout.
Who did not, apparently.
No.
Hey, Ben Simmons was in for 26 minutes last night. 11 points on the board.
Ooh, that's an odd number.
It's also a prime number. 4 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 0 of 0 from behind the three-point line. Simmons also had 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 rebounds on the night. So, looking ahead to the opening of the Major League Baseball season, we'll have a full breakdown of all the Tigers that are on first day one rosters, opening day rosters. Why couldn't I say that?
I don't know.
Anyway, before we get to that, though, Austin Nola looks like he's going to be the day one catcher. I put that in there just for that. Not just going to be an opening day starter at catcher, but according to, what is this?
Pitcher 2?
Yes, both ends.
He did go to Catholic.
In previewing the 2021 San Diego Padres, it's a Padres blog, says the most improved player on the team, like beyond any compare. So,
good.
Shout out.
Babe.
Andrew Stevenson made the opening day roster for the Nationals.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So did Will Harris. Still kicking, still doing it, doing his thing. And let's see, 2 more we can get in here. Oh, told you yesterday that I don't want to hear it twice, but Aaron Nola. is going to be the opening day pitcher for the Phillies. Well, he's not the only former Tiger as an opening day pitcher. Kevin Gausman will take the bump for the Giants tomorrow night at 9:10 p.m. Central.
Pretty sure already told us that one.
Do what?
I'm sure we already had that one.
No, I just had Nola yesterday.
Well, maybe Musso had it when he was here. We definitely had Gausman as the opening day starter.
That would have been like a week ago that
Doesn't
Musso
matter.
was here.
We already had. I'm telling you, we had Gausman as the opening day starter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't know they'd announced an opening day starter more than a week ago. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by
KYSBezHemp.com. KYSBezHemp.com.
Hour 3, staring you straight in the face. Don't you move.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. And now hiring. Of course, Relief Windows has had exponential growth here in the last decade. It's been so fun to watch our business grow, and part of that is you need more people. So you want to work for a great company, work for great people, Brandon and Adrian Holly, that are invested into their business, into their customers. If you want a different challenge every day, where you're going into a different home every day with a different job every day, Relief Windows. And if you want more out of your career, Relief Windows offers base salary. They offer 401k. They offer health benefits and a bonus structure where you really can control how much you make. You want to make more? There's an opportunity to do it through their bonus structure at Relief Windows. If you're interested, inquire online at reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com, or give them a buzz at 288-8138, 288-8138. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, you can get a Corolla with 0% financing or buy it for $19,158. That's 0% financing. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Hand Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Detectives in Los Angeles County have determined what caused Tiger Woods' SUV crash 5 weeks ago, but details about the cause will not be released. Sheriff Alex Villanueva says he'll need permission from Woods to release that information. The vote to go to a 17-game NFL regular season was not unanimous among owners. ESPN's Seth Wickersham reports Bears chairman George McCaskey voted no. UConn freshman Paige Beckers is the Associated Press Women's Basketball Player of the Year, the first freshman to win the award. UConn alum Brianna Stewart of the Seattle Storm says Beckers could be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft right now.
Absolutely. If she had the opportunity to be one and done, she could do it. And, I think it's cool to even talk about this because it just goes to show how far women's basketball is going.
Brianna Stewart on Key J&Z. Oklahoma senior guard Austin Reeves will declare for the draft. He averaged 18 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists this year for the Sooners.
Coming up Thursday, it's baseball opening day. So we'll bring in our own baseball insider, Buster Olney, for everything you need to know to get ready for the season. From over-under win totals to the players you need to watch. Thursday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Bob Rank.
And the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here, glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Guess who was at LSU Pro Day today?
It's hump day.
Guess who, Brad?
Huh? I got no clue. Who?
Take a guess.
Ryan Clark was at LSU today.
Yeah, he was. Guess who else?
I would Sean Payton, maybe?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't seen a picture of him, but yeah, let's go with yeah.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Was, I would guess, a representative of every team in the NFL.
Yeah, there.
Tyler Shelvin?
Yes, Tyler Shelvin was there.
Tyler Shelvin's dietitian? Jamar Chase?
He was there, but not who I was talking about. Yep.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Terrace Marshall.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Piccadilly. How about Werther's Originals?
Oh, no.
Ryan Terrio. Jello.
Sully made it out?
Jerry Sullivan was at LSU's Pro Day! How absurd is it that anytime this man surfaces anywhere with anything, people immediately tweet pictures at me and tag Terrio also?
Of course.
Holy crap. All right. LSU Pro Day was today. Jerry Sullivan, who's now working with the Arizona Cardinals, was also there. I'm sure Terrio will have fun with that on Friday. Glad you're aboard with us here. Been a busy day. Ross Dellenger was here in hour 1. Ryan Clark was with us last hour recapping LSU's Pro Day. By all accounts, the LSU guys did really well. Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall both ran 4.38. Racy McMath ran a 4.34. Incredible. It really makes you wonder, had Racy not had the hamstring injury, how much more progress might he have made in the 2020 season. But Tyler Sheldon was down to 350, still a really big number, but apparently prior to the season, he was Ryan Clark told us he was in the 385 range. So he lost about 35 pounds, still a good ways to go. But by all accounts, the LSU guys performed very well. Jacoby Stevens tested exceptionally well. His vertical was over 40 inches. So a good day for the LSU guys out at Pro Day. Now, spring practice took a day off with Pro Day, and the Tigers will be back on the practice field tomorrow. But Ed Orgeron did meet with the media, and he updated spring at about the halfway point of spring football. And one of the guys he talked about on Tuesday evening when he met with the media is freshman defensive lineman Mason Smith. And listen, this guy was a 5-star, number 1 defensive lineman in the country, all that stuff. And Ed Orgeron, this is number 2. Ed Orgeron had glowing things to say about Mason Smith.
He's our best pass rusher inside right now. Right now, 5-6 days of spring. So there's no question he's going to play. He's going to play a lot, and he can push for a starting position. He is a very athletic big man. He practices very hard. He's got to stay a little bit lower on the run. He's excellent on his pass rush, and he comes to work hard every day. He's a very smart young man. I do believe he's going to play a lot as a freshman, and is going to be one of our top freshmen on our team.
Ed Orgeron said Mason Smith is the best interior pass rusher they have right now. You know what? That doesn't surprise me. Consider this, all right? Obviously, Mason Smith is a behemoth, okay? He's just a physical outlier. He's a gifted individual. There's a reason that he's been on everybody's radar for years. Mike Detillier has called him the most gifted big man he has ever scouted from the Bayou region. So this is a special prospect that we're talking about. But also understand, last year, when you look at LSU's sack leaders, Andre Anthony led the team with 5.5 sacks. He's an edge guy. B.J. Ojulari had 4 sacks. He's an edge guy. Jacoby Stevens had 3. He's a safety. Ali Gay had 2. Jaquelin Roy had 2. To spell it out for you, a freshman defensive lineman who didn't start and played in 9 of your 10 games had the most sacks among any of your interior linemen last year. So for Ed Orgeron to say Mason Smith right now is our best interior pass rusher, he's probably right. Because the only guy who generated any pressure up the middle last year was Jaquelin Roy, a true freshman. I'm excited to see Roy. I think he's going to be the guy that pops this year. I hate making personnel comparisons because you think he's going to be that guy, but it does. His freshman year did remind me kind of how they used Glenn Dorsey. I'm not saying he's going to be Glenn Dorsey. I'm just saying that's how they used him. You had some veteran guys there. You had him as a rotational guy, got on the interior, and every time he was in there, it was like, damn, who's that guy? Like, he just flashed. So let's see now if he can take it to the next level. But I believe Ed when he says Smith right now is your best interior pass rusher because you didn't return a bunch there. I mean, you've got guys who have played. You got Neil Farrell who played, and Glenn Logan who's played inside and out. And Joseph Evans is back now playing on the inside. And we mentioned Roy, and then you're going to see a guy like Jacoby and Guillory hopefully get more involved. But there's a massive opportunity for a guy like Mason Smith to start and to be that guy on this team. Now, when you flip it to the other side of the line, the other thing that Ed Orgeron said yesterday was talking about developing the backup offensive lineman in the spring.
We got to accelerate the development of our second team. We can't just sit there. There's a gap. They're good players, but they're not ready to go. We can't be satisfied that we have these guys on the front line and just take our time. I want those guys to act like they have to start because, as we know, they want to play away. And they're not ready to play yet. I just told the coaches we can't sit back and say we got the first team and that, we're going to develop them slowly. I want to pick up the pace on their development.
LSU last year had as many sacks as sacks allowed. As a matter of fact, they allowed 25 sacks and they had 24 sacks. I know I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it many more times between now and the start of the season. Just because you return guys doesn't mean you're good. You return guys from a bad unit doesn't mean all of a sudden you're better just because they're back. You hope they progress. So, Ed Orgeron there was talking about developing your backups because you need them to play like starters. I would really hope that someone in that second unit, by the time we get to the start of the season, is pushing for a starting job. Because quite honestly, you've got to be developing that talent behind them. When you've got guys that really struggled a year ago, and everybody on that starting offensive line struggled at times last year, if you don't have one lineman behind them who can push for a starting job, that's a problem. So I am going to be very interested in the remainder of spring and throughout the summer and fall to see if we start to see some movement there. You've heard Ed Orgeron mention Anthony Bradford as the guy who's maybe the most talented guy who could make that move. Let's see if he, in fact, does. One more from Ed Orgeron. I'm short on time, but one more. He did talk about a position change. We told you, hinted about this, about Jay Ward moving to safety.
Look at the game he had in Arkansas. Look at the game. Look at the wherewithal he had to play. Made that play in Florida. When he was called upon last year, he played very good. And I thought that he made some outstanding plays there, and he showed a lot of versatility. He showed a lot of awareness. And, we moved him to safety, and they just think he's a natural back there. Obviously, he's a good corner. He's a good nickel. But I think it's more of a position of need. We're happy to see that someone can go back there and do the job, and he has work to do. But I think, like you said, Jay Ward last year, at the end of the season, an up-and-coming great player. I think he's going to be a great player for us.
Ed Orgeron is LSU right at about the halfway point of spring football. All right, Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball is going to join us next. Let me remind you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you all the time, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing. Of course, this is a venture that I was invited in on with my buddy Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley and Sam Hay, and you're calling us. You're calling our company. We'd love to help you with your roof inspection and your roof replacement. HudcoRoofing.com. If you want us to come out for a free inspection, that's where the process starts. Before you call your insurance company, if you think you have damage, call Hudco Roofing. We'll come out. We'll do a free inspection, take pictures of whatever damage you have, file that full report, and work with your insurance company to file the claim, get your roof paid for with insurance. All you pay is your deductible. It's a process that we've done for more than 20 years as a company. Of course, Terrio and I are sort of new into the game and thrilled to be partnered with our friends at Hudco. But a Louisiana company that uses Louisiana shingles, shingles which are manufactured in their Shreveport plant. We are Louisiana through and through. We are Hudco Roofing, so that's why we say do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. You can call either the Baton Rouge or the Shreveport office. You can go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com. There's a contact form right there at HudcoRoofing.com. Or there's a chat function as well on the homepage at HudcoRoofing.com. And you'll see pictures of Terrio and me right there on the homepage. So there's incentive enough to go visit the website. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
AFR.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, you can get a Corolla with 0% financing or buy it for $19,158. That's 0% financing. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music.
We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service. HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in Laplace has brand new 2020 Ford F.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
LSU Vanderbilt tomorrow at the Box 3-game series. Tigers trying to get on track, but the task is daunting against the #1 team in the land. Nobody watches more college baseball than Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Well, be doing better if the Tigers were doing a little bit better. This last weekend has a lot of people down after what happened in Knoxville. It's not any easier, as I mentioned. Let me get some perspective from you just from jump on Rocker Leiter. Best 1-2 in college baseball since?
Cole Bauer. I mean, I think you have to think back to UCLA that year with Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer. And it's really interesting, you know, you look at those two guys back at UCLA, you know, people forget that Trevor Bauer had like 150 strikeouts, I think his junior year. And so that was a terrific 1-2 punch. And I think when you look at, you know, Vandy with Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, I mean, you can make a legit argument already that Jack Leiter is better than Kumar Rocker. And that's saying a lot. I mean, you're talking about a guy who is certainly a very accomplished pitcher in college baseball, both during the regular season and during the postseason, and a guy with the filthiest slider in college baseball in Kumar. So those two guys have been such a treat to watch. I mean, you talk about, you know, Leiter in the sense of 16 no-hit innings in a row in SEC play. I mean, that's just bonkers. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so, the LSU's offense, they're going to have to strap it on this weekend. They're going to have to go at it because those guys are going to go at them.
I mentioned, did we lose Kendall? You still got us?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I mentioned that if I'm in an area, I kind of look at maybe pitching backwards in this series. We saw a lot of teams do that against Aaron Nola back in 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Is that something teams might consider against this team?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know why you pitch backwards with Jaden Hill. I mean, when you look at what he's done so far this year, I wouldn't trust the guy on a Saturday right now with the series on the line. So, when I look at LSU's team overall, I feel like this team boils down to, and I hate to throw it on one player's shoulders, but it really and frankly boils down to Jaden Hill needs to be the Jaden Hill we all thought he was. When you look at LSU's ranking in the preseason, the top 15, it was predicated upon the weekend rotation being very good. What was a big part of that? Jaden Hill. And the thing about Jaden is it's really weird because, he still has premium stuff, but the guy is just not missing enough bats. He's getting hit hard at times. And so this is a big, big weekend for LSU. And I think it's an even bigger weekend for Jaden. I think a lot of eyeballs are going to be on that matchup, this weekend. And I think he needs to pitch really well. And frankly, down the road, if LSU is going to turn this around and become an elite team, he's got to be the guy.
What do you think is realistic for this LSU team, given what they still have ahead with Arkansas and with Ole Miss? And you know the schedule, you know what they're up against. What's realistic for this team?
Well, at this point, they just need to get in a regional. When you look at the schedule, it's absolutely brutal. They just need to play consistent baseball. It seems like one night they're pitching well, the next night they're not hitting. They just haven't been very consistent. And I don't think, from an offensive perspective, when they've kind of been hot and cold at times, that hasn't really surprised me. I think when you're relying on young hitters in a lot of key positions, that's going to happen. I think the biggest surprise to me, though, has just been outside of Marceau, just Jaden Hill. Honestly, it boils down to Jaden Hill. I thought he was going to be an absolute dude this year, and he's been anything but that.
It's surprising because more of the conversation here has been about the inability of the offense to generate any type of run support. Your impressions of what LSU's been offensively so far, what they haven't been so far?
Well, if you look earlier in the season, they hit the ball. Louisiana Tech has certainly turned out to be really good. They scored 16 runs against those guys, and so that's one of the better teams they played this year, and they actually hit pretty well against them. So, I actually think LSU's okay offensively. Matt, if you remember coming into the season, we all thought, hey, if Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan had good years, we feel pretty good about the LSU offense. So, I think the offense is fine. I just think the biggest thing with this team is just overall consistency. There's not a lot of it. And, when you start losing, the way they did at Tennessee at times, then, it just starts, it just starts being contagious throughout the rest of the team.
Kendall Rogers is with us on Twitter at Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. Is Vanderbilt the clear-cut number one in your mind?
I don't think it's clear cut. I think it's 1A, 1B with those guys in Arkansas. I think Arkansas kind of had a lull there for a couple of weeks where their offense kind of sputtered. But you look at the weekend at Starkville. They looked ridiculously good. They look just like they did opening weekend at Global Life. And so that's kind of the Arkansas team that I come to expect. I do think when you look at Vanderbilt, I think the offense is potent. You look at Dom Keegan, Isaiah Thomas. They can really hit at the top of the lineup. I think the bottom of the lineup is pretty navigable. And then you look at the pitching. The one thing about Vanderbilt, and you kind of mentioned it with pitching backwards a little bit, the one thing about Vanderbilt with, as good as Kumar and as good as Jack has been, guys like Thomas Schultz and whatnot, they haven't been great. And so if they can be had, it's on Sunday. Arkansas, on the other hand, they're still moving guys in and out of the weekend rotation, so they haven't figured it out either.
Kendall, what do you think about the rest of the league right now? I can look at the D1 Baseball Top 25 rankings and see a lot of SEC teams, which we always do. But after Vandy and Arkansas, who do you look at and say, all right, those teams are legitimately national title contenders? Not the fact that anything can happen in May and into June, notwithstanding. But what are the teams you think have the pieces to make that kind of a run?
I think you got to look at Ole Miss and Mississippi State. You look at Ole Miss and you look at that rotation with Gunnar Hoagland, Doug McCady, Derek Diamond. That's three really, really good arms in your rotation on the back end. Taylor Broadway. I like Ole Miss's club. I think Mississippi State, even though State is kind of going through a lull right now, offensively after the weekend at LSU, they just haven't been very good in the last few games. And I think they'll be fine in the long run. But, you look at its rotation with Christian McLeod, Will Bednar, who certainly pitched really well in Baton Rouge, and Jackson Bristow. And then Landon Sims on the back end. I look at those two teams with just their pitching and the ability at times to hit. I think those two teams for me are certainly in the mix. And, I know it's crazy to say because they just they just got swept by South Carolina, but I still think Florida is going to figure it out. I mean, you look at Judd Fabian, the All-American outfielder for Florida. I mean, he's been atrocious lately. His at-bats against South Carolina on Sunday were absolutely terrible, and I don't think that's going to last. And so I think once he kind of clicks, I think the rest of that team will follow suit.
All right, before you go, put on your sort of scout cap and tell me what you see from LSU freshman Dylan Cruz so far this year.
You know what? I mean, I get it. They're a little different players, but man, honest to God, like I kind of see a lot of Bregman in him. When he steps in the box, like he kind of has that same little kind of stocky, little like kind of scrappy baseball build. He's confident. He's got a little arrogance to him. I love it. He can hit with power. I thought the biggest thing with Dylan is I thought he would have a ton of swing and miss this year, and for the most part, his at-bats have been pretty good. And so, I honestly, like I see a lot of Bregman in his approaches in the box, and we'll see if his career kind of takes shape. But I mean, he's been outstanding so far. I mean, you cannot ask for much more than him. And of course, Trey Morgan, a guy that I was pretty high on in the fall, he's been really good at times too with mature approaches at the plate. I love those two guys.
It's a big opportunity for LSU this weekend, certainly for those guys.
Ooh.
A lot of eyes on Rocker and Leiter. Big opportunity for those guys as well.
It's put up or shut up weekend for the Tigers. I mean, they need to show up this weekend, and I think it's a big start for Jaden Hill. He's got to step up against Kumar.
Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. He's on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Man, enjoy the baseball this weekend all year. We'll catch up again on down the line. You're going to be in Baton Rouge?
You got it, brother. Be good. Man, I'm heading over there in the morning.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'll look for you this weekend then in BR, man. We'll grab a whiskey or something like that.
No comment.
Fair enough. We'll connect. I'll see you, man. That is Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. He'll be in town. So it's like, that's the kind of thing, right? I mean, by the way, brought to you by mycleanliving.net, mycleanliving.net. NASA technology inside of these air purifiers, clinically proven to eliminate pathogens in the air and on surfaces. You want to rid your home of the virus that causes COVID-19, of the flu virus, of things like staph. Great for locker rooms as well. You can get staph infections out of your locker room. mycleanliving.net, mycleanliving.net. Check it out. mycleanliving.net. Financing is available as well if you need it. mycleanliving.net. But he mentioned, the opportunity for Jaden Hill this weekend, but with Leiter and with Rocker, and then you throw Jaden Hill in the mix as well, and Marceau, and you look at all the frontline pitching and guys that could be first rounders. This is one of those weekends where you're going to look behind home plate. And you're going to see all the radar guns. You're going to see all the scouts at the box this weekend to see these pitchers, because it's rare that you're going to get that assembly, that collection of talent all in one spot on the same weekend. So if you're a scout, you can come to Baton Rouge and you can see Rocker and Leiter and Hill and Marceau and Cruz. I mean, Cruz is a freshman, but you get it. You can see all these guys in one place. So all the scouts that are there to see the pitchers are going to get an opportunity to see the other guys as well. I mean, this happens a lot of times in scouting from the college ranks when college scouts go to high school games to see a quarterback. Well, maybe in going to look at the quarterback, they go, well, who's that receiver? I mean, that's the kind of thing that could happen for a guy like Jack Besh, right? When you're at St. Thomas More and guys are going to see Walker Howard, and then now they see this, this gazelle run around like, who's 7? And then before you know it, he's got major D1 offers. Like, it's one of those things that can happen this weekend as well for the LSU offense if some of these guys get going against these really dominant arms from Vanderbilt. So big weekend for the Tigers. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Could Jamar Chase, after today, reunite with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati? And what about the possibility of Dylan Moses ending up in New Orleans? Dylan Moses did talk about that possibility. I'll let you know what he said when we come back. Glad to have you here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling? Think real estate? Think Darren James. First thing you got to do, though, is get to the website, agent225.com, agent225.com. You got a smartphone in your hand. Just go to agent225.com. Every home listed by every company all in one place. You'll see it right there. You go to our listings at the top of the page. You can see every listing there by Darren and his team, like this one, new on the site today, Quail Ridge, $399.9, 5-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom in the Quail Ridge neighborhood. Agent225.com. That's where you can find it. Get to the website. If you're buying or selling, start with a call to Darren James at 335-7666. And remember, especially if you're selling, because we are in such a seller's market right now. Excuse me, if you're buying, we're in such a seller's market right now. Have a realtor go to bat for you, go to work for you. You know what to do, buying or selling. Think real estate? Think Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, you can get a Corolla with 0% financing or buy it for $19,158. That's 0% financing. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Monster day for Jamar Chase among all of the LSU players that really had good days out at Pro Day. But Jamar Chase with the day where he goes and runs 4.38 in the 40-yard dash, and for all intents and purposes solidified himself as the best wide receiver in this draft. Of course, that might be within the eye of the beholder if they prefer Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, but a guy who won the Biletnikoff Award a year ago, 1,700 yards, more than 20 touchdowns, as great a season as he had. Some people out of sight, out of mind this season, while Devontae Smith went on to win the Heisman, but Jamar Chase was absolutely spectacular and has put himself in position to potentially be the first receiver off the board, and with it expected that the top 4 players taken will be quarterbacks and the Cincinnati Bengals picking 5th. Could Jamar Chase have a reunion with Joe Burrow? He was asked the question about Cincinnati being in touch.
I have talked to the Bengals. I don't know how many times I've talked to them, though. But me and Joe, I wouldn't mind going back with Joe. If we go back together, we try and do nothing but get back on chemistry and have some more fun.
So they had a pretty good amount of fun in 2019. And I'll tell you flatly, I hope like hell this doesn't happen. You want to know why? Not because I wouldn't want to see Burrow and Chase together again. Not because I wouldn't want to see that combination go wreck the NFL the way they wrecked college football in the 2019 season. The way that Jamar Chase absolutely annihilated number one corners who are now littered throughout the NFL. But because more than getting Joe Burrow a weapon, they need to protect his knees from exploding again. Burrow played 10 games last season. He averaged 268 pass yards per game. That was 7th in the NFL. And mind you, those were the first 10 games of his career. So what's to say he wouldn't have even gotten better over the next 6 games? Only Mahomes, Watson, Brady, Herbert, Ryan, and Allen threw for more yards per game than did Joe Burrow. He's got T. Higgins back. He's got Tyler Boyd back. Yes, they need to replace A.J. Green, but Green was disappointing a year ago. They can find a number 3 receiver for Joe Burrow. What they need is to keep him upright so he doesn't get pulverized and they wreck his career like so many other great young quarterbacks have had happen. Protect Joe Burrow's ACLs and then worry about getting him more weapons. It would be fun to see them play together, though. But not at the expense of Joe Burrow's ACLs. Another Louisiana guy, a kid who was originally from New Orleans, is Dylan Moses. And we did talk about Dylan Moses yesterday on the show. And the reason it came up is that Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis were at Alabama's Pro Day. And so people were kind of talking about Mac Jones and some of the receivers. And my point was, I'm not interested in that. I mean, realistically, Mac Jones isn't going to be on the board when the Saints pick at 28. Neither will Smith or Waddle. I mean, the guys that the Saints might legitimately have a chance of taking at 28 are Dylan Moses and Christian Barmore, the big defensive tackle. And Dylan Moses was asked if he talked to the Saints, and he told Amos Morale of WWL, quote, speaking to them online, having to give them my background information and all that, the majority of it they already know, but it's cool to be able to speak to the hometown team. So he did acknowledge that he's spoken to the Saints. I would love if the Saints took Dylan Moses at 28. At some point, not at some point, it's the minute they no longer play for Alabama. I no longer care where they play college football. It now becomes about what you can do at the next level. You forget, but people here hated USC in 03-04-05 because of the split national championship in 2003. Every truck in Baton Rouge had an FUSC bumper sticker on the back glass. The second they drafted Reggie Bush, nobody cared that he went to USC. He was St. Reggie. There were Reggie chants in the dome. He was our guy. You know what I'm talking about. So all that allegiance goes out the window as soon as they're drafted and they're on your team. So whatever you want to say about Dylan Moses being a kid that went to U-High and went to Alabama, decommitted from LSU, I don't care. What I do know about Dylan Moses is he's a freak show. And there was a point in his career where he was a surefire, no doubt, first-round draft pick. And he tore his ACL, and then he acknowledged this year he played the season on a torn meniscus, and the season didn't go great for him. This guy at one point was a no-doubt lock to be a first-round draft pick, and now no one really knows exactly where teams are going to factor him in because nobody really knows what medical clearance he's going to get. There have been great players who drop in the draft because they don't get medical clearance. We see it every year in the draft. We go, how did that guy go undrafted? Well, teams didn't clear him medically. They wouldn't draft him. And the most recent example of a dominant player, a no-doubt first-round draft pick at that position, at linebacker, no doubt first-rounder, undeniably, who got injured and saw his stock drop, was Jalen Smith. And Jalen Smith went to Notre Dame and, of course, got hurt in that Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State, and it was a gruesome injury, and that was heinous, and it almost cost him his career. But Jalen Smith went through his rehab process, and Dallas used the 34th overall pick on him. The 34th pick. So he went early in round 2. They basically gave him a redshirt year, but since then, in 4 years since, Jalen Smith has not missed a game. He has played all 16 games each of the last 4 years, and in 4 years, this is his tackles per season, 81, 121, 142, 154. He keeps getting better. He is everything everybody thought he would be because he was able to overcome that injury, so that's my question. If the Saints go into this process and they clear Dylan Moses medically, and 27 other teams want to pass on him because they're not sure about the ACL or the meniscus, and one of your biggest positions of need is who's going to be your weak side linebacker right there next to Demario Davis. And you have a chance to get a guy who throughout his entire life has been the biggest freak show and was at one point a no-doubt can't-miss number 1 draft pick. And now because of injury, he's dropped in the minds of some. And you clear him medically, you damn right I'm okay taking him at 28. All I know is the Saints with their first pick better go defense. Because you need interior linemen, you need a linebacker, and you need a starting cornerback. And you probably address something therein in free agency between now and the draft. But it better be defense. And if it's Dylan Moses, I'm totally cool with that. The other thing I'll tell you is a lot of Bama guys have busted. And part of that is just because they put a lot of guys into the draft. But the positions largely where they've busted have been offensive linemen and then cornerback. That's where you've seen a lot of Knicks guys go to the next level and not perform. The position that they've actually converted has been linebacker. From Rashaan Evans and Reggie Ragland and C.J. Mosley to Dante Hightower and Courtney Upshaw, Knicks linebackers have gone to the next level and delivered. So maybe Dylan Moses is the next one. And if he's on the board at 28 and they decide to pull the trigger, I'd be pumped about that. All right, so after further review, glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll knock out our final break of the show. When we come back, we'll have Otter Locks and what we learned. It's been a really good one if you missed any of it. Ross Dellenger was with us in hour number 1. Whiskey Wednesday with Taylor Calandro. Ryan Clark was out at LSU Pro Day today covering it for ESPN. He joined us in hour 2. You heard Kendall Rogers earlier this hour. Ton of stuff. If you missed anything, it's on demand. AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. All right, let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back and do Otter Locks with Jimmy Ott and what we learned next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Of course, our Hump Day show is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. The Final Four is set. You need a place to watch the Final Four, championship games? Get to Pluckers. NBA, the second half in full swing. What a slate tonight. You got the Heat and the Pacers. You got the Mavs and the Celtics. Houston and Brooklyn. Harden against his old team. The Knicks and the T-Wolves. The Bucks and the Lakers. Need a place to watch? Get by Pluckers. NHL games. Need a place to watch? Get by Pluckers. Tomorrow should be a national holiday. Tomorrow, opening day of Major League Baseball. Need a place to watch all day? Play hooky? Get by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. And I'll remind you, they have every LSU baseball game on TV all season long. So before or after any Tiger baseball game or to watch the games, get by Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Dining, Carry Out. Pluckers, you know, like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
$29,995 for a new Ford F-150. Bayou Ford in LaPlace has brand new 2020 Ford F-150s for only $29,995. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Okay, wrapping up a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. I should say down the stretch we come. Not having the final segment music we used to use kind of throws me off sometimes when I hear that. We'll get to what we learned here in just a quick second. No, we used to do like the I don't know what song that was. Do you remember that?
It was literally titled Matt Final Segment.
Can we use that again?
It might be licensed. I don't really care, but
yes, so. Why does that stop this?
I'd have to find it. It was in the old system.
Okay. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. And we welcome aboard Jimmy Ott from City Slice Pints and Pizza. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. How about you, Matt?
Man, having a really good day, man. Hopefully you are as well. Heading into the Easter weekend. Going to be a fun one, man. I want to talk some college basketball, but first, can you give us some maybe futures or picks for Major League Baseball, which is getting underway tomorrow?
You got your pen ready?
I have it right here.
I will put these in a time capsule for
All
6 months, and we'll check on them periodically if there's a little slow.
I'm
All
ready.
right, got two overs. Dodgers over 102.5.
Oh, wow, it's a big number.
Yeah, it's the biggest on the board. Kansas City, 74.5. Dodgers were on pace to win 116 last year. They added Trevor Bauer. Enough for me.
Wait, what number did you get? What was it, 102?
102.5.
Okay.
102.5.
Right.
Kansas City over 74.5.
Okay.
Here are the unders. Got 5 of them.
Okay.
Cubs under 78.5. Texas Rangers under 67.5. Colorado under 63.5. That's low numbers.
Yeah.
Baltimore under 64.5. And sorry, but your New York Yankees under 95.5.
That's a big number. I don't mind going under there.
Right. Cody Bellinger.
They'll probably win the division anyway.
Cody Bellinger, MVP at 9-1.
Okay.
Milwaukee to win their division at 3-1.
Okay.
Mike Matheny, manager of the year for the Royals. They're 9-1 to make it to the playoffs. He's 40-1 to win manager of the year.
Okay.
Don Mattingly won it by getting his team to the playoffs last year. They get to the playoffs, he's got a shot at 40-1. I know this is chalk, but the Dodgers to win the World Series plus 350. I mean, I think it's a lot they're going to get in the NLCS, whether it's with Atlanta or San Diego. The saves leader, Josh Hader from Milwaukee at 8-1. And finally, this guy is second on the second favorite for most hits in baseball this year. He is fourth favorite for most steals this year. He is a leadoff hitter, and he is at 75-1 to have the most runs. Whit Merrifield from Kansas City. Most runs at 75-1.
You
there we go.
Like the Royals this year.
They are. They are. There's some low numbers, man. They're not that division's not that good.
Okay.
The White Sox are supposed to be. This is a year they have all at youth, but they are banged up. They're going to have some key guys out for several months. So that kind of brings it back to pack. Cleveland has sold up everybody. Minnesota is supposed to come back as well.
Who do you like to come out of the AL?
Yeah, of course the Yankees are the favorite. But I mean, I just don't think their pitching is. I mean, they don't have the Dodgers pitching. I know that. I think the three best teams are in the National League, and the Padres and the Braves. The Braves were a game away from going to the World Series and didn't have their ace in Soroka, who got hurt very early with the Tommy John. So I don't have a pick. I don't have a pick to come out of the AL.
Come on, Otter. Not as a bet. Give me a pick, man. Guess this is sports radio. It's what we do, Otter. We make picks, and then we never check on them unless it's you, and then we laugh at you when you're wrong.
I tell you what. I do think that Jamar Chase passed up Devontae Smith today.
Yeah, I think so too. Well,
4.38. Not so much that. The 41 vertical league, bro.
Yeah.
That's some of the best sleepers in the NBA. We know he's bigger than Smith. That 41 vertical is a sign of explosion. That was eye-popping, to say the least. I want to see how much – I don't know how much they're going to de-emphasize the 40 times since none of them were in Indianapolis. So, it didn't hurt, but the 41 vertical, that's there, bro.
Yeah, that's
that
good
was something.
All right, wait, are we going to talk to you tomorrow? Or you're doing your show? Okay, good. So we'll talk tomorrow. Do you want to give any thumbnails yet on Final Four, or you want to wait?
Let's do that tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll do that tomorrow with the baseball.
All right.
Yeah.
Tons of baseball futures. Get your action in now. Of course, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. Yes?
And all day if you want more. We've got Andy Esco, Wes Reynolds, Troy Macker, Sean Harness. We give all MLB futures on the show for 2 hours tonight.
All right. Y'all check it out. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge or online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Otter, appreciate you as always. Good luck, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Make sure you're checking out Jimmy after us here in Baton Rouge. It's coming up. Man, love telling you about GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com because they're changing lives. Did it for me. They can do it for you. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFSmortgage.com. Are you kidding me? They got interest rates in the twos. Interest rates in the twos. You're starting to see news that those are starting to bump up a little bit. Told you it's a moment in time. It's not going to last forever. So take advantage of this moment in time with GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. Get in touch with a local loan officer. There's offices all over the state of Louisiana, so no matter where you are listening to me right now, go to GMFSmortgage.com. You'll find a loan officer nearest you. Let them start the process. It's so easy. I did the whole thing remotely. Did literally everything via email and text. I e-signed everything. It was so easy. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. All right, y'all. Down the stretch we come. Putting finishing touches here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. I am excited for tomorrow. We will get you a full series preview of LSU and Vanderbilt. If you missed it, Paul Maneri has put forth his starting rotation, and he is going to go Marceau Hill Labus against obviously with Rocker and Leiter, 1-2 from Vanderbilt, the number one team in the country, is coming to Baton Rouge. It's going to have to be low-scoring games for the Tigers, obviously. They're going to have to be able to match the starting pitching from Vanderbilt. We'll give you a full preview of the games in the series tomorrow on AFR, and it is opening day tomorrow. I'm excited about that. All right, we always wrap up with what we learned. Brain, what did you learn on the show today?
Jerry Sullivan's working with the Arizona Cardinals.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I just kind of hope it doesn't come up on Fridays when Terrio's here, because inevitably I'm just going to get in trouble with someone out of LSU.
I can't imagine who'd bring it up.
What does that mean?
Oh.
Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned what an infinity bottle of whiskey is.
Hey.
Matt, what'd you learn?
Look out, Louie has been found and the Auburn Bass team has been reinstated. Oh, happy day. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Get to the website, Michelli.com. When I sat down with Joel McMullen from Michelli a couple of weeks ago, he said one of the things he hears all the time is people will get to their website or they'll come into their facility right there in Harahan and go, "You do that too? Oh, I didn't know you do that." Yeah, at Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, so many different industries that they service. If you are in your industry, if you weigh or measure something, anything, they sell, rent, or service the products you use, the tools you use, the instruments you use to weigh and measure. And they got 29 offices in 11 different states. So even if you're outside of Louisiana, check them out at Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Remember their track system. It is totally free. It is a free service where you can get 24/7, 365 access to your calibration certificates at Michelli.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Have you been arrested